Von Braun's purpose in life during the last years of his life, his dying years, was to educate the public and decision makers about why space-based weapons are a dumb, dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, unworkable, undesirable idea. The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over, during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Alien Addict on this fine and luxurious Sunday. I'm a bit upset with myself that I said luxurious. Anyway, before we get on with the show, you know, the normal stuff. I want you to do the like and the share and the subscribing and all the things, regardless of what platform you're on. I want to remind you that all Alien Addict shows go out as a podcast on our podcast feed. Usually on Mondays and Wednesdays. You will get the Friday show, the Saturday show, and the Sunday show. Make sure you go and do that. We'd like you to listen to the audio podcast. We want to build our numbers up on audio as well as a video. So make sure you go and subscribe to the podcast feed. The merch is all out there. As you know, Alien Addict t-shirts are pretty popular right now. Lovecraft Ladies there. Click the next one, Ollie. Retro Mothman is also, that's my favorite one actually. I'll let you in like behind the curtain. We haven't quite sold as many of those as I thought we would do, and that one in black is my favorite t-shirt. Illuminati Rockstar, obviously, again, wear that. Looks like a metal band t-shirt. Just get one. Get two for your mother. Ollie's favorite. I'm not a flat earther, but which I believe he says on a daily basis. Dave, Ollie, get yourselves in the room.
Good finger in there.
Not really. I was kind of hanging.
I thought I was fingering well.
No, to the point where I was thinking I'll just do this myself next time.
I'm not a mind reader.
Are you?
How are you doing, gentlemen, in the 24 hours it has been? Not even 24 hours, 23 hours since we have last spoke to each other.
I am much better because my antibiotics are working. So I have strep throat and an ear infection, and it was much worse yesterday than it is today.
How was the bare boxing?
I suffered through it. It wasn't the best fights. But we get to see with my buddies and hang out and watch it. And I promised him I'd be there
Cool.
because I didn't go to my regular Friday night thing. I just laid in bed shivering.
Mm-hmm. Ollie, how's your mother?
She's grand. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. Yeah, she is.
I suggested to Ollie that we should maybe touch on this as a show because
Mhm.
Not my mum.
Ollie's mom.
No, fuck you, Dave.
I mean we have always said like an Alien Addict OnlyFans might be the way.
I don't think we can get Ollie's mom to do that. I think that might be asking a lot.
I mean, we also might have to shift the platform to only grands, but
Is that a thing?
what
It should be. It's good.
it is now, right? I'm going to give an impromptu plug for somebody that I don't know, but I enjoy their content. There is this is only going to help for musicians essentially, but musicians are going to find this funny. There's a drummer I really like, and his website is onlyflams.com. A flam is a drum maneuver. I love it a little bit. Anyway,
It sounds sexual, I'll be honest with you.
It does sound sexual. Yeah.
I suppose OnlyFlans could be like a quiche shop as well, couldn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Definitely sounds sexual.
Do you fuck with a quiche in the US, Dave?
Only if with lube.
Yeah, no, but is a quiche a thing in the US?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Is it a common thing? No.
Right. Okay.
No, they'll have it like brunches if you're brunch people, and maybe they have it. I don't know. That's where you would find it.
It's pretty big egg-based food over here. We're pretty big on anything that's a pie, really. But back to the reason people have come here. The last card. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and we kind of keep thinking, although people like within the sort of UFO community keep thinking things that disclosures coming and stuff like that. And then the cards or the what Werner von Braun said. So what was the lady's name again, Ollie?
Carol Rosin.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it anyway.
Yeah. She popped in my head. And I suddenly thought to myself, well, we've got all this talk about Apophis coming up.
Yes.
So maybe all this stuff we're getting right, we're going, we're going to get disclosure, we're going to get disclosure. Maybe this is just groundwork. This is just the groundwork before the Apophis, like second to last card, because no one ever talks about the second to last card. And
the asteroid.
Yeah, people only talk about like the last card. I don't know what happened to my voice then. People only talk about like the last card, and they forget the fact that essentially the first card, the Russians, was used. The terrorist card has also been used. So the plan is, like, if real, definitely moving forward. So, is that where we're going to find ourselves in the next 2 or 3 years? Is the world going to have to get together to sort this asteroid problem out?
I mean, if this asteroid becomes an issue, I said this to my wife the other day. I said, if you do hear something about an asteroid in the next few years and it sounds scary, yeah, just don't be scared. Just don't worry about it. Just let it pass by.
Relax and let it happen.
Yeah. There's nothing. It means it's absolutely bugger all you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do.
It's either a really big problem for a split second and then it's not a problem anymore.
Well, I mean, there's things you could do, but I don't want to deal with other people competing. So, yeah, there's nothing you can do.
But can you imagine, though, like the amount of control that they would be able to do if they just like said, right, we're going to make so many bunkers and so many of you can come down here, but unfortunately, some of you maybe they do a lottery or something. I don't know.
It would be unmanageable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But maybe that is one of the things that is gonna like happen, and then all of a sudden it never hits, and they're like, so all that chaos for nothing. And then it's like, why did it not hit? Something stopped them. Something stopped them in space. NASA starts reporting, going, something just got taken out. We don't know what happened. We didn't do it. I mean, that's how, if I think how they're going to do the alien one if it comes after the asteroid, that's the only way they're going to be able to do it. Because if the asteroid hits,
how big is Apophis?
Let's find out. The
asteroid, not the deity.
Let's.
Yeah, boys, it's taking a depressing turn. Yeah, Apophis is something that I do think about. It does pop into my mind from time to time. The thing is, we don't have access to real intelligence. Like, they are never going to tell us the truth of anything, especially regarding that. I don't think they would warn the public. I do not believe any government in the world would warn the public. Like the U.S. government already has facilities underground to maintain for the people that they've picked. Everyone else will figure it out. And then they'll reemerge as, we're here to help. You know, it's very Fallout-esque, I guess.
Do you think there's a lot of them already there?
In bunkers?
No, a lot of the bunkers are already built. Because
Oh,
I was thinking this the other day when I was
300 meters, 1,100 feet.
That's pretty big.
That is the same size as the Empire State Building and a third smaller than the Eiffel Tower.
How big was the one that hit that
killed the dinos, allegedly?
Yeah. Well, killed the reptilians, yeah.
390 meters. So smaller than Apophis.
Okay.
Be fine.
That was some Googling that young Jamie would have been happy about.
Yeah, you were on it. I gotta be honest. You were on it. I'm impressed.
I was thinking about this though when I was driving to work the other day, and I was just
you weren't, because if you really thought about it, you wouldn't have drove to work. You'd have gone home.
That's but there was like one of the motorways where they were doing work on it, and I just thought that'd be a really good way, a good place to put one in the middle of a motorway. If they don't want no one to know what it is, they want it to be secret. They get some building team out there doing the roads. That road takes freaking ages, and they just make a big base underground, and then they put a motorway over it.
Military bases, airports. You know, we've long speculated that Denver International Airport has something like pretty fucking wild underneath it.
It does.
Well, there's been whistleblowers that have come out with that were part of the building saying like, it went twice over budget. They built it, realized it was wrong, and then filled it in and did it again.
They moved more earth than it took to dig the Panama Canal.
That's normal. It's fine.
Totally normal to build an airport.
But what I'm saying is, would it not make more sense? Because people know where these bases are. Most people know where the bases are.
Yeah, how do you get to it?
Well,
Well, I mean, if you knew, you wouldn't say out loud. You just show up and hopefully they'd let you in, right?
Desperate times, desperate measures. If you built one underneath the fucking motorway, or whatever you call them motorways in the States? Highways. You built one under there. No one would think, I bet I'm driving over a military base here. I'm driving over a secret bunker.
I think you might be playing down the amount of time it would take to build a subterranean like panic room.
Yep.
Without technology, yeah.
Well, the thing is like roads. You say roadworks take a long time, but there's a long time, and then there's building a city under the earth.
I think if the building stuff like that, if and they know about what's going to come. They probably have some of the technology that, like, the Egyptians were using to get those rocks moved.
Maybe.
Have I showed you guys the billionaire bunkers?
Yes.
Yeah. So I am aware of someone that has one.
Mm.
Yeah. I've never met him. I'll probably never meet him. But like I know of someone who does have one. And yeah, there are things, man. These people have things like that exist, and they can build it on the DL. Like they build it, no problem. I'm sure. I'm not even sure. In fact, I know a guy. If I knew this was the direction it was going to go, I wonder if we could have got him on. He's been in one.
Wow.
He's been on the show before. Yeah. They're real things. Deep underground military bases are real things. Maybe not everyone is connected all over the world with a high-speed maglev. No, but underground facilities that are ready for nuclear war or for an asteroid impact. Yeah. The government loves to spend money. They absolutely have these things. It would be ridiculous to think that they don't. The only difference is those facilities that they've built and stocked and are ready is for a bunch of geriatric people who probably shouldn't get to survive as something like that. Like they're not the ones who are going to repopulate the earth.
Hasn't Russia built a load of subterranean
yes
things, but they're well known and they've been built
for their people,
for the population.
Correct. Yeah, that was always something that I found interesting, the difference between our capitalist society and the communist society. The capitalist society took all these resources to build these unbelievable bunkers underground that are just for the politicians and quote unquote leaders, or the communists, who are the bad guys. And I will not argue that point. They are the bad guys. But they built bunkers for their people. I think it's a perception of power, right? Like our leadership believes the power lies with them and with leadership. And the communists recognize, man, if we ain't got people to do the work, we don't have anything. Like we need people.
Well, Elon Musk said he was talking about Mark Zuckerberg's like
volcano.
Panic bunker. Yeah. That when that came out, and Mark Zuckerberg turned around and said, "Yeah, it's a great idea, but exactly when the apocalypse happened, what's going to stop? What did he say? What's going to stop Mark Zuckerberg's bodyguards making it their bunker during the apocalypse?"
Yeah, and I think that's why most of these things you see are at military facilities. They are ran as military facilities. They are military facilities because they were like at least the U.S. government, and I would imagine the UK is exactly the same. They rely on the military hierarchy that the people are going to follow orders. They're going to do what they say. Their structure or command, blah, blah, blah. Whereas normal people in a panic situation, they're not going to do that. They're not going to be, no, you're 93 years old and you took showers entirely too long with your daughter that no one refuted. You smell people. I'm throwing you out. But at the same time, our technology is advanced to, I think that the people in power, and this is kind of dark, the people in power would welcome something like that to get rid of all the useless eaters and breeders that are taking up their space.
I think so, like almost like a war. I think that what's being pushed right now, they'd welcome like a war as well to throw a load of people to,
or plague,
or plague,
experimental vaccines, whatever.
The Rotary Motion has just popped up there saying, "Where was the pyramids bunkers?" I've often had this thought that ancient megalithic sites, if you live around one of those when the shit does hit the fan, it's probably not a bad place to be, because these things have been here for what?
Yeah,
tens of thousands of years,
allegedly.
Maybe more, maybe hundreds of thousands of years,
allegedly.
So if they've lasted that long, they're probably going to last the next round as well.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. I think Apophis is something to worry about. I know I saw someone put in there it was 2.7%, but it's going to swing back around. I believe it was at 2035 is when it comes back around.
Please don't say it's 2033.
It might be. You might want to look it up. And so it depends on like how that hits the gravity well between Earth and the Moon, and if it's interacted, then they're like it's going to impact.
2036.
2036. Thank you. So
what we don't know is it's going to speed up. It'll come to
let's hope not.
It'll be 2033.
Yeah. So I mean, but it would fit in well with the Illuminati cards, right? Because I said it would be asteroids. Well, here's the asteroid threat.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that would come the alien invasion threat. And they're obviously laying groundwork for all of that now.
When does it pass us? When is it?
2026.
7, right?
It's 26.
Isn't it going to like skim our atmosphere or something?
It's going to go between us and some of our higher satellites. If you believe that, it's not flat.
So,
Sorry, 2029.
2029 is when it's coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we don't get like spectacular HD footage of that thing, I'm just gonna be like, no, this is not happening.
Well, no, you won't need HD footage of it because you'll be able to see that with the naked eye.
Yeah.
Will you?
Yep.
Yes. It's going to pass between the Earth and the satellites. Moon. It's gonna pass like around our satellites. Now, when you think a satellite is about half the size of a family saloon, now you can see a satellite from space. I'm not including like the army bits of the satellite. The body is what you'd see, isn't it? Now we can see Starlink satellites, even though they're shiny. Lower, aren't they? They're
lower.
Satellites.
So it's, as I understand it, it's going to pass. Like we have some higher orbit satellites, and it's going to pass underneath those.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculously close. Yeah.
So it's going to slingshot around the sun,
and then we'll pass through it again 7 years later.
Mm-hmm. And then it is projected to hit the second time round.
No, it has to. Like that's the problem with astronomical movement and these gravity wells. Like these things, this thing's coming so close in the way it's threading. If the gravity well of Earth like pulls it enough, then yeah. But if the moon pulls it more, then it's fine. I mean, we're talking about fractions of a degree here. I mean, this thing's.
But in that respect, the moon is the Earth is obviously going to pull harder than the moon because of the sheer size.
It depends on the effect of gravity. I mean, these are these alleged astrophysicists throwing these things out there. They're not convinced that it will hit either time. In fact, they've said that they have to wait and see what the trajectory is after it passes through.
Right. If there's something that the past, say, like 5 years has shown me, it's that we should totally trust
100%.
Like modeling.
Yeah.
Never goes wrong.
No, you know what we should do is experimental
vaccinate for comets.
Vaccines.
Have you got your Apophis vaccination?
Exactly. Yeah, then it won't hit. That's easy. All the cool kids are doing it. It bothers me.
Beam. Yeah. Can you imagine if that is going to be the blue beam, though?
I think blue beam is the psychological operation. That way, when something does happen, think about what's getting put out. Like, you can find normies who know what blue beam is.
Mm.
You can't find normies who know what Apophis is. The transdimensional ghosts or whatever you want to call them. Like that conversation that doesn't happen at the water cooler. But people are aware of Project Bluebeam. Like, that's been out in the ether for a long time. It's fake. It's the government. It's a psyop. Right? I mean, I just saw on X, Alex Jones, and was posting something that the Russians put up a drone that was firing a laser into the sky, like taunting the Ukrainians, allegedly. And they're like, this is how Project Bluebeam is going to happen. 50,000 views. I think that's the psyop. That way, when things go sideways and things are really happening, they want people to stay in disbelief. Kind of like when they were telling people to watch out for like the demon face syndrome.
Mm.
Yeah. Or the Miami Mall incident that we still have never seen any footage of the inside of.
Yeah,
that's right?
That's still crazy to me.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely something about that.
Yeah, man, it's all getting screwy.
To get no video footage?
Nothing.
Other than what they showed us in the beginning.
Yeah, they don't even have people talking about it. I always go to like Does anyone? Do you guys remember the old movie Night of the Comet?
No.
That does ring a bell, that Dave.
Night of the Comet.
Oh. Is that when they went crazy? The people started going crazy.
Well, that's a lot of movies, Ollie. Night of the Comet is a comet is passing ridiculously close to Earth, and they advertised the last time it was seen was during the age of the dinosaurs, and that so basically all of Earth will see it and be in the tail of this comet. That's how close it's getting. So everyone goes outside for a party, and some people still have to work, and some people just don't give a shit. And it focuses around particularly one girl, and she's like working in a movie theater, even though she wanted to be at the party, but no one's there. Hooks up with her boyfriend, and they're inside the building. Next morning, boyfriend's like, "I'm going to go to the car. I'll be right back." He doesn't come back. She goes outside. There's this weird zombie-esque person, homeless person, like feeding on him, and she beats him off and kills the zombie person. Runs. Nobody. There's nobody in the city. It's like outside of LA in a suburb. Nobody's there. They're running around. All they find is orange dust all over the ground, piles of clothes. Everybody's gone. She finds her sister, who was like sleeping in the basement of her friend's house or whatever. And it turns out the tail of the comet had some kind of radiation that just vaporized everybody. If you weren't in a metal container or underground or behind thick concrete, that was it. Like it got you. And if you were just partially exposed, it turns you into like a slow rotting zombie. And they get taken to
called again?
Night of the Comet. I think it's from like 1986, I think.
I need to watch this.
Yeah, and so like one of the government deep underground military bases is part of it, and they forgot to close their air vents. So everybody in the base is slowly dying. Yeah, it's not a great movie. I wouldn't even call it a good movie. It is a fun movie though.
Is it like one of those low budget horrors?
No, I mean it had a real budget. It's just, it's 1980 special effects. It is what it is. But yeah, Night of the Comet.
So when they're going to bring them aliens in?
I don't think they're aliens, Ollie.
Well, no, but if the cards do get played, it definitely seems like they have been played. Like, if the alien's the final card, how would it come in?
Independence Day. The plan of how aliens would make contact with us has been sewn so deep into our psyche. That's how it would be supposedly happen. I think if something was going to be manufactured. Do you know, I found something wild out the other day?
What?
That and this made me think more about the sort of stuff we talk about, like what essentially is the phenomena. I didn't realize that it was Kenneth Arnold, wasn't it, that saw the flying saucers? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first flying saucers. He was a pilot. He saw these 8 boomerang shaped.
Yeah, the flying saucer was never a flying saucer; it was a boomerang.
Yeah, and when he said like it was like they were skipping across the water like saucers. He never said that they were. He never said that they were like saucer shaped at all, and he was actually quite upset with the press for misquoting him, and he came out like angry about being misquoted about seeing these things. The whole thing of what we think of ufology and like the subsequently like the style of what would come from UFOs was all based on essentially a fiction of a misquote. And I don't think enough people give that the credit. So these flying saucers, the sport model, flying discs, all that sort of stuff, all before they were seen, all came from a news article where somebody misquoted somebody, and somebody misquoted somebody, and all of a sudden people started seeing these things.
It's wild, but I mean, does that mean that would say that there is no such thing as an actual flying saucer?
Makes you
Or
think, Ollie.
is that by design? You know?
How many people really report a saucer that you would think were credible versus people who you would think feel as credible when they tell you versus people who just see lights in the sky?
Well, I mean, but love him or hate him. Bob Lazar, I've always gone like that with, you know.
That's the thing. He didn't have an experience, though. Like Bob Lazar didn't have an encounter experience. What he did was brought into a government project that it was later than talked about. They dug these things up. Right? And they're trying to back engineer them. So like when I say like someone who's had an experience, do they talk about, I saw a UFO? And do they say flying saucer in the description or lights?
Even when he took Leah to Groom Lake or the surrounding area, and they videoed the light, didn't they? You know,
it was a light.
Yeah, but it was a ball of light in the sky.
Yeah, it's a ball of light. We don't know what's going on or what's happening or the reasons or anything to it. It's just a light in the sky. We know that. You know, we hear that from people regularly enough. How that plays into it, like Chris Bledsoe released new video of some light in the sky he saw, right? One of his, UFOs of God, whatever. That his whole thing is very perplexing to me because he says the lady who has appeared to him gave him this charge to spread her message. Yet he's never spread the message.
No. I have a thought about this because I was watching Bledsoe's video. Do you know what that is, Ollie? Could you bring that up for people to see?
I don't know which one it is.
Have a look, Dave. See if
I'd like to see
you can find it. The thing with Bledsoe that got me thinking. So you've got this guy, older guy. He's been in contact with for the sake of ease, we'll say aliens, and after speaking to these aliens, they've bestowed some sort of knowledge onto him, and that has given him the ability to call, summon, whatever it is, and he can call and summon them and show them to people and stuff like that. Who else does that sound like?
This man?
No. It sounds like fucking hell, what's his name? We fell.
You were asking us. We wouldn't know.
No. Ollie threw me off with Monkey Greer.
Monkey Greer will do that.
We fell out with his right hand man, which is I really shouldn't have said that about him.
Billy Meyer.
Yeah, to call someone else his right hand man is probably not ideal. But yeah, like is Bledsoe the new Meyer?
I don't know, because as much as the Meyer thing's fun, you've got some just crazy.
No, but that's. I'm not saying that Bledsoe's on the level. I'm saying, are we going to be in a few years' time talk about Chris Bledsoe as the UFO faker of our time?
Let's see this video. I need to see this. So is this the video he's...
Mm-hmm.
There's a beautiful orb right there tonight. That ain't even zoomed. It's in the cloud or going through the cloud. It's to the east of me. Man, is it bright. I gotta get my camera down. I had it at a weird angle. There's the power line. Top of the pond. There's the orb. Thank you for that. If I had my new camera, I could really have something beautiful here. course, I'm thrilled to get this. It's heading east, maybe a tiny bit northeast. That pole there is almost due east for me.
That's interesting.
That's it's shared by Skyfire News, by the way. Chris Bledsoe is not active on X, but he is on Instagram.
When did that get released?
Recently.
Yesterday?
Yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to fake that, how do you fake that? You just put a big, massive light on a drone and it doesn't look like...
I have no idea.
The thing with Chris Bledsoe,
and that's not me saying it's fake, by the way.
No, I get that. I'm just saying you have to think of the people that take him seriously. And they're very serious people. Very serious people. Give credence to his words, fly him out to speak to them at private dinner parties. Which I think when you learn who those, and you do your own research, right? Don't just fucking listen to me. I'm just some asshole online. I think when you find out who those people are, it gets even more interesting. Like they wanted him to come out to Bilderberg and like do a speak and talk to everyone. That's weird. I mean, he turned him down allegedly. I don't know. This is an alien thing, and we're talking about weird things when I'm thinking more of a conspiracy mindset. But why? What is their interest? Because he talks about a lady, right? A divine lady who appears to him, and there's a few other references out there. People have had interactions with that. Chupacabra, when he was on, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I've seen it. Apparently,
well, you've seen a lady in white. Did you see a divine lady in white that gave you a charge and a message?
No, I can't even remember it.
There's a lot of ghostly apparitions that appear as females in white, and that's a common thing. What he's talking about here is an entirely different animal. I mean, you're talking like a charge from the divine or something trying to look like the divine. It's interesting.
Wouldn't it be funny if Ollie had seen a divine lady who did bestow power, bestow there we go, powers on him. And like in the other realm now, she's there going, oh, those humans must be getting on well. And there's another one saying, what did you do, Debbie? I met this guy called Ollie. I filled him right in. I gave him the powers. I was like, are you sure he's going to use them? So he's not going to do something stupid like, start a YouTube channel. He'll be out there channeling. He's going to be spreading the word. He's probably the leader of the world right now, if not a country.
He's got to be. Yeah. Or she's like, Oliver, I'm here for. Ooh, those are small hands. I mean, I know you're a boy, but no one's going to take you seriously. Go back to bed. Sorry for the inconvenience.
One day, Oliver, you will hold the world in your tiny little hands.
Squishy. I used to have a squishy globe.
Yeah, so like when you see these divine encounters too, like I'm of the mindset, just me personally, I think there's 4 different manifestations that are floating around out there, and I think the 4 are like, we could generalize 2 different sides. It's interesting though. It's interesting the people who fawn over Bledsoe. The people that we know who have watched events with him, right? We know someone who's been out there, been to his property, watched lights in the sky with him. And when you look at who that is, it's also interesting that that's the one you said yes to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked up the Instagram account, I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's curiosity with the divine charge. Is that so? What is that divine charge that you still haven't told anyone?
Yeah.
that you're about the business of telling the world that you haven't told the world. It's curious. I would love to speak to him personally. I've tried. I've reached out 24 times.
I have as well. I've reached out to his Instagram account and I got nothing back.
Instagram messages, email, his son, nada. Maybe, the divine white lady doesn't want him to speak to me. That's fine. Who's the guy that ran the cult in Atlanta? He wouldn't let me come talk to his invisible friends either. So,
he had Danny Jones out not so long ago, didn't he? Danny Jones went out to Secret, so yeah. Danny Jones talked about on his podcast, said he manifested orbs. Said and then there was he essentially saw like a ball lightning, I think, like ground sort of level. By ground level, I mean like within like 6 foot off the air, something like that. It's close.
Yeah, that's close. So
did they film this?
Of course, no one ever films anything, do they?
Well, I mean, and to be fair, when you're seeing something amazing, filming it is not the first thing that comes to your mind. It's just not. It's like, what?
Yeah, to be fair, you didn't.
I should have filmed that.
No, that was like when we were out, Dave. Yeah.
So there's definitely that. I don't know, man. I think the Chris Bledsoe thing it's interesting. I would like to meet him. I keep looking for opportunity. There was like a group thing going. He was doing it, and I was signing up for it, and I got bumped. I got bumped out.
Oh,
which is weird.
That's rubbish. Yeah. See, I just wonder whether these people are. They do such a good job at reinforcing, without actually having to say anything, with reinforcing the narrative when it comes to this stuff.
See, I actually 100% believe he is encountering a phenomenon. He is interacting with a phenomenon, and some phenomenon has divined him. I want to know more about the phenomenon. I'm not interested in him.
I think that is interesting, though, what you said about the fact that he's like the divine lady comes it's give him a message. Nobody knows what this fucking message is.
Allegedly, he's told people in the government, and they've asked him not to tell anyone else. The rumor in those circles is that the government cares a lot about particular individuals, what these particular individuals have to say, and about like any kind of prophecy of the future, doom, apocalypse, channeling. They take it serious. Like there's whole aspects of departments that take it very seriously. Whatever that means, yeah, I've not for lack of trying. The only thing I haven't done is just drive out there to his neighborhood, find his damn house, and show up.
Do that.
Which I'm not far from it. I'm not far from it. I think I'm pretty sure I know where he lives. But there's still. I'll keep messaging. I'll wait for another opportunity. That's fine.
Just keep stalking, Dave. That's it.
It's what I do.
Yeah,
it is what I do. You guys know that. I will find you.
How crazy would it be, though? Like, do you remember, and that's why I had to put it in the intro. Remember the Independence? I didn't put it in because it's Independence Day. I was thinking about asteroids in the movie. They thought it was an asteroid about to hit Earth, and they went, "It's slowing down."
I think that's a possibility. Look at Oumuamua.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't. What did that do now? It didn't slow down? Did it change trajectory? I'm not even drunk. I can't.
The things it did that were interesting. Trajectory. The things that it did that were interesting. I think the things it did that were the most interesting that they just haven't told anyone. Because the amount of scientific interest in that object was unbelievable versus what anyone was actually saying about it. Right? It's an interstellar object that's passing through our space. Yay! How you know that? Oh, well, this and that. Oh, okay. And we're going to study it, and we're going to do this. And I mean, just because it's interstellar, like we're going to invest. Yeah. And hey, it could be this, and maybe it's this, maybe it's an interstellar probe. Maybe it's what would lead you to think, oh, I don't know. No, we're just talking. We're just talking, silly talking. We're going to go before Congress though and hold a closed door special sessions for the next $50 billion to investigate why. Just, research.
Gotta check those space rocks.
Gotta check space rocks, right? They're interesting. And
I mean, if it did slow down, and it was a bit, they said it's actually slowing down. It's intelligent. Then they played both cards together.
Well, that's I mean,
that's the build up of the asteroid.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, what a way if this was the blue beam thing. What a way to bring the savior in, like because the world will be in chaos, right? So let's say the idea of the let's mash all our shit together in one go. So it's Project Bluebeam to usher in a one world government that is essentially at the behest of some sort of dark satanic cult. Yeah. Like a coverall of conspiracy theory. So you want the second coming of whatever this religion is, to save everybody. So you already think you've got society destroyed. Like there's fires in the streets. It's like some people might confuse it with peaceful protests, but buildings are getting burned down. That just the normal stuff when society collapses, because they think it's the last few days on Earth because there's a comet coming towards us. Then it stops. Then the new thing is there. Whatever guise the new thing takes the form of, and decides to to save us. It's here for us, and that's how you kick off your new religion, because people be ready for it. People are wanting to be saved. That feels like if you had the technology to do it, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's interesting. John Stokes puts in there that Oumuamua accelerated away from the sun. I remember reading about that. And then for Marcus Fishlock, before we go on, surely the purpose of the messages from the lady is to tell the world, why doesn't he? That's a great question, Marcus. Why doesn't he?
The thing is with these cards, though, boys, that there's so many of them, so many different people doing them as well.
Like, I mean, now it's the Illuminati card game is folklore, isn't it? And then it's you don't know what's made, because obviously there'll be like a CGI princess card now, and obviously that'll have come after it. I'd love to play it.
I've tried to find a deck to buy, and I haven't found anyone that were credible that it was original.
All right.
Because there's these reprints, there's knockoffs,
I was looking the other night, Dave, as well. Yeah. I thought, I might buy a pack.
I've wanted one for a while. Yeah. You can get one. It's just, is it real? So let it go.
See, Moody's got a great point here, and I often think this. I'd love to know where that missing $3.6 trillion went. We never did get a government to review that. I'm sure that that money leads to interesting places. Now, if you needed money for some sort of gigantic technical leap, that would be money with no questions asked. That was a real good place to find some.
Yeah.
Or
I can't see any of those.
Yeah, or they built the underground bunkers with it.
Yes, that's also it is weird. Like the whole when you look back on things from 9/11 to now, it was thrown into the subconscious. Like that day changed everything. Like the amount of times that was said to Pete said to us on the television, be it like in documentaries or sitcoms, that sort of stuff. When 9/11 was mentioned, there was this moment in time where whenever it came up, it was that day changed everything. And when you look back on it, really did. Like nothing has been the same since that day. And I think things have got slowly worse. I think the COVID moment as well, I that was definitely that day or that year changed everything moment too. The question is if we don't believe these things are organic, why? What's the reasoning for it?
That keeps me up at night sometimes. What's going on? That feeling of dread of what's going on.
Yeah.
Why the game? What's the point of the game? What are they playing at? They're playing at something. Like if you're into conspiracies, not even, long enough. And you got the eyes to see.
You have to be into conspiracies nowadays.
No,
even
I agree.
normal people
are
starting to realize.
But they don't have the depth to be able to really calculate it. They just know something's off. And for those who have known something's off for a long time and have been watching and reading the signs and whatnot, I just sit back and go, why? And I keep coming back to the 200 rulers of the world and 100 families, and it seems to make the most sense. But the thing is, what are they doing and why? Why the chaos? Why the slow? Why the continued push for breaking it? Because they're breaking it now, but if you go deep into the conspiracy, then they help build it, right? The Industrial Revolution, the Golden Age, all that. Yep. And now we're to this point, we're going to smash it down again. It's just why the cyclical nature? What is the point? Just keep going forward. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't get it.
Were you? I think I mentioned this last night on the show, but I think you might have disappeared for it because I've been thinking about this lately as well, and I wonder because a part of it comes from something you said before, Dave, about the idea that the hidden hand is like actually so incredibly pro-human.
Yes,
we can't actually understand it because it's
it's a hard conspiracy to get across someone, and it sounds horrible. Like the shit you sound like that's vile. Like I agree, but you can't argue with the results.
So what if the secret knowledge is what was housed in the Library of Alexandria and then moved to the Vatican stuff? What if that is the true history of Earth, where we have almost because of our very nature is like, to quote Matrix, like a virus. We breed, we consume, and we don't stop breeding and consuming until we suffocate everything around us, including ourselves. What if we've been on the brink of that before, and their job is to, as soon as we get to that point where we start to choke ourselves again, they bring us right back, because the other option is allowing us to destroy ourselves.
Well, if you've got a fish tank and you've got a fish in that tank that is carrying some sort of disease that spreads, people will take that, not only take the fish out of the tank, but that tank will get completely cleaned out.
You've got there's a better, if we want to go for the fish tank analogy, there's a better analogy of that, and that's guppies. Anyone that's kept guppies, those motherfuckers fuck. They like to fuck, and they fuck, and they make loads more guppies. And then what happens when those guppies get big enough? The ones doing the fucking fuck those as well. Then you've got even more guppies. And if you've got a tank full of guppies, you need to take a good half of those fish out and give them to people, because otherwise you just get so many fish in the tank that eventually they all run out of oxygen and die.
You know what I wonder? This is a conversation I had one time, and it keeps me up sometimes. It creeps into my head in the quiet moments. Talking to a very good, very intelligent friend of mine who's a government-esque guy. He's not like a government guy. He's a contractor, right? And just a nerd contractor. Like most of my friends, well, not most, but a lot of my friends are nerd contractors. And he loves conspiracies. I love it. And we're talking about it. And we kind of had a similar thing. And to keep it in all its perspective, think of it less as a fish tank and more of farming fish.
Mm-hmm.
When do you harvest the salmon you have out in nets? When do you cull the cattle? When they've bred to the proper amount. Oh, we got enough now. Cull them. Just leave the breeding stock. Maybe they know. Like, hey, our numbers are getting up there. Yeah, it's a golden age. Start the wars. Keep the famine going. Infect the injections. Keep them sick. Poison them. We have to slow the growth. All right? I don't care. Do it to the entire aquifer. It doesn't matter. We have to slow the growth. Otherwise, they're coming back because we're going to hit density again and they're going to harvest again. We need more time.
Well, they're coming back.
You read those old religions, or you read the doomsday religions and then whatnot. It sounds like a harvest. I mean, hell, the Christians, they call it a reaping, right? Reap the harvest. You know, if you look at the mythos that's been passed down, maybe these keepers or watchers or the chosen people are just the ones left behind as breeding stock. And as time goes on, their mythos changes. And, you know, a couple families are important, powerful people within them. Like, hey, this is going to happen again. We need to prepare. We need to keep our people safe. We need to prepare that way. Focus on these things. Yeah, you're going to build technology and institute and try and re-inject, right? Because we don't know what our history really is. No one does. We don't know how many times these things have happened. That's why we have gaps in history, and we have these mud flood lore, and we have these megalithic structures. Maybe these gatekeepers really do have technology, and maybe we develop it in different ways each time. And they're just trying to keep it. And they're like, hey, at some point we can fight back. We just have to buy time. And if you look at our technological revolution that we're having now, leaps and bounds that we're growing every few years, maybe they see it as, hey, we need to slow the reproduction because we're going to get there technologically. We may have a chance to actually stop this or fight back against these things. We can't have them come back again. I mean, the thing is, like, and my friend had come to some of these theories through looking at the things that the elites are into, right? What do they sacrifice? What are they about? What do they believe? They're horrible, dark things that they're trying to appease, right? They're trying to appease and gain favor, and maybe they are. Maybe they're working against it. Maybe someone's working against them to try and slow it, and they seem like a bad guy. But they're not. Like, they're humanists. They're all about the human race. They're just trying to buy a little time. I don't know. It's a good theory. It's a dark theory. That's why we have these mass wipeouts, right? We hide them as plagues.
So, do you think they'll ever, if that is exactly what it is, what you just
Let's
said?
hope not.
Have they ever tried to tell people?
I love it. Dave spoke for 4 minutes and Ollie's just in. It's like, yeah, right. You figured it out.
No, I'm just.
no. I'm sorry.
I'm hypothetically speaking here. I'm keeping the fun of the show.
Maybe we are dangerous.
Yeah.
No wonder they shadow ban us. Who else is with us from that scary time story?
Meanwhile,
we got some people in the chat that are with us. They're like, shit.
Meanwhile, the divine lady's looking at Ollie like this, going, that guy spoke for 5 minutes.
I'm just saying that I liked the story. Well, it's terrifying.
You liked it. Good.
But let's just say it's true. Do you not think that at any point, when they keep doing these resets, they thought, actually, we won't do the resets this time round. We'll try and tell them, and we'll see what happens. See if we can fight this thing together.
I don't think so. I think, have you ever raised livestock of any kind? That's no.
I had that bird for a day, didn't I?
How'd that turn out?
Right.
So you keep the best one. You keep your favorite. He or she gets treated. It's like, that's the heifer right there. That's my stud bull. Like, he produces a good quality line. I'm taking care of him. He's my pet. And then suddenly the bull knows that all his kids and most of his girlfriends are gone. And he's starting all over again because I wanted hamburger and steaks. I like the way he tastes the best, so he can keep making more. His kids taste the best. Do you ever think that the people who get the favor in the world is because they like that line? That's dark.
Bastards. Yeah. It's dark.
Well,
That's probably true,
thing, though, isn't it?
I hope not.
No, but like, if there's anything we can take from at least like the nuggets we're gauging from, now, which it seems to be, it's such a popular topic right now, is like hidden history. This whole thing of like, we don't know our true history. Correct. Is so popular. I find that weird. I don't think it's an organic thing, because people will bring up like Graham Hancock and stuff like that. Graham Hancock's been around for decades.
Yes, but
he's just like allowed to make this documentary for Netflix and stuff like that, just as all the Tartaria stuff's kicking off and things. It's there's definitely a concerted effort to make people think more about these things. And we've often spoke about the idea that there's some sort of karmatic effect with these people. And they have to tell you what they're doing before they do it. So, but what we gain from it, like the little bits of understanding that I think we've got, is that these resets have happened over and over again. But there has been times in history when we've been interacted with by a different race, be it gods, be it demons, be it aliens. I don't think, like, we as modern humans, like, because this is the thing, you kind of have to, like, we're told to connect ourselves with the Mayans, and we're told to connect ourselves with these older races like the Egyptians. But if the resets are a real thing, we're actually there's split lines between us and those people where these resets have happened. So do the entities come at the beginning or the end?
My guess, the end.
I don't know. It's a good question. Like, so if you look at like different biblical references and other mythos, right? At one time, man walked with powerful, tall beings, right? Maybe they had 6 fingers. Maybe they had 2 sets of teeth. They were giant, hold cats like kittens. Whoever or whatever they were, however they came about, we were here with them. And it seems pretty much like we served them to some extent, right? Something was going on there in that exchange.
Or we were served to them.
Well, there's definitely plenty of cannibalistic. I mean, not cannibal, but they ate us, right? Very potentially. Like if you read like the Nephilim, right? They consumed everything. They were a plague. You see a lot of that chimera stuff, things reference to it, splicing of genes and people, and that the sons of God fell and came into the daughters of women, and giants were born, the mighty men of old, powerful men. And women. Don't come for me. I'm just, going off the top of my head. So what can we extrapolate?
Can we just say they to stop triggering anyone?
They, them?
Yeah.
No, I don't like to trigger them.
Damn it.
He, she. It's he, she all day. Even with those things, it was he, she. So let's fucking, come on. God, mutant children. And like if you look in the Book of Enoch or Yasher, you start talking about the particular beings that fell, like watchers and their names, and there are 200 of them. There are 200 of them, and in the like different conspiracy things, you always hear about the 200 rulers, right? The 200 people who rule the world and 100 families. Sounds to me like 200 paired off, right? And started 100 families, and they rule the world. To what ends or what purpose, I don't know. It's interesting though. It's fascinating. We have different bloodlines here on the planet. You know, we have the Rh negatives, Rh positives, which is a bizarre mutation everyone just kind of glosses over and no one wants to talk about. It's just a lot of mysteries, right? Obviously, a lot is hidden from us. But I don't know that they came at the end. Maybe they came at the beginning. And something comes back intermittently. Obviously, something is going on, something intermittently. And Graham Hancock, they go with the natural disaster. There's these comets, and they're coming, and they're falling, and they're trying to tell us. I feel like if that was the case, their artwork would have been more specific. That's easy artwork to explain, right? Like big rock come down, hit big cloud, go boom. You can draw that out pretty easy. Everything was dark. We don't see that. We see other animals. We see these weird portal-like things as if something's coming or going. You look into the missing 411 phenomenon and everything that's behind it, people going disappearing in cities. It does seem like there's some sort of natural predation upon man. To what extent, I don't know. But something's going on. You know, again, we got the demon face mythos that people are like, hey, if you see it, it's a new mental illness that you see people that look like demons now.
That was crazy. And the thing I found really weird about that was I saw a clip of, I think it was 8 or 9 different news channels in the US that ran that story. And they all did the same thing. It was like the COVID thing again. Like those guys all got the same memo that this is going on the news tonight. Like, can you imagine being in the newsroom and someone said, right, you are, let's say there is a because I don't believe like loads of people are in on this sort of stuff. I do believe that the people that work for newspapers and the people that work for news organizations, for the most part, know they get stuff funneled through them that they're supposed to put out. But I think most of them are actual journalists. But they just kind of coerced into, look, you're in a right-wing newspaper, like we do conservative shit. You're in a left-wing newspaper, we do like left-wing shit. The
if you don't like it, lump it.
Yeah, but and like that's fair. That's fine. You know, that those are the people that you're serving essentially. You know, like the if you work for the Guardian, you do not expect to do a glowing report on what Trump's presidency ran for. Like that's you're gonna hand that over to someone, and they're gonna say, "Oh right, fuck off," because we don't do that. But can you imagine working in that newsroom when someone says, "Oh, what's on the 10 o'clock news today, Jeff?" It's like, demon face. How fucking confusing.
I've thought that it is a weird. What are you pushing and why? You know, why is this? And I like the guy who put it on TikTok, whether or not talking about, I made deliveries. This guy, he's allegedly a delivery man. He's made deliveries for years, or not years, but he has been a delivery man for years. He's had this client for a while. He's making deliveries to him, walks in there, guy kind of snaps around, and he's like, he just had his mouth hung open. His eyes were totally black and his face looked different. And the guy's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, nothing. He's like, you look startled. He's like, yeah, I don't feel well. Handed the pack off, got off there and called his friend, and his friend told him, like, yeah, man, they were talking about on the news that it's this, you know, whatever happened to the woman who saw that thing on the plane. Right?
That's interesting, yeah.
You know, we got the magnetic poles walking all around. Maybe it's shifting the camouflage of whatever's here.
I mean, the lady on the plane just came. She's now, she doesn't talk about it, does she? She's been on shows.
I mean, she's really like.
Has she been on shows?
Yeah. She's gone sort of like MAGA type window dressing type person, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get any of these things, and it's we live in like a strange, multi-layered world, which doesn't seem to give. It doesn't seem to give a lot of answers, but it seems to ask questions on the daily.
Do you remember when them videos from China were trending where they all of a sudden would like look round, stare at something, and then
over their left shoulder. Yeah,
Yeah.
the left shoulder heart attacks.
and then they would
Yeah.
just like spasm.
Like something was coming for them.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That was wild.
it makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder, like, again, that we know that the poles are kind of walking around right now. And the magnetic field seems to be getting weaker. Maybe it's allowing us to see these things around us. Right? There's always been the mythos and people talking about, not going to say vampire, but vampire. Was the Jack Osborne was doing a podcast about that, and I forget who was on there. Kennedy, I can't think of the guy's first name. And talking to some director he was working with was like, "No, man, they're real. Like they're 100% real. So they're just not what you think." I always thought that was interesting.
Mm.
You know, I don't know.
The pole sort of thing wandering around is weird, and like Jim Corsetti seems to think that the reason we're seeing the auroras and stuff like that is because we are in the middle of a pole shift.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Again, more scary stuff. I mean, I took some pictures of the aurora last night from like my son's bedroom window, and I don't think people appreciate how fucking strange it is. That, I mean, camera phones have become much better, so now we can take a high, like, what's the aperture, like long exposure. Yeah, sorry, I was struggling with my words there. But we've kind of been able to take decent pictures of stars for a while now on phones.
Yes.
You know, it's like, so the long exposure thing's been around for a while, and we've been able to take good pictures of night skies where you can see more stars than you can with your naked eyes. I took a picture last night of the sky being blue and fucking pink. That's
normal.
Weird. That's weird times to be in. And someone will say, "Oh yeah, we just had massive solar flare." Right? Okay, we just had a massive solar flare, but it's still a weird thing for me to be able to do with a consumer camera phone. Not even outside. Like, in my the amount of light pollution around me is fucking unreal. I didn't even go outside. I did it through the glass of my son's window. I couldn't even be bothered opening the window, and I still took a really good picture of it.
I told you, I went out last night. Saw that little thing in the sky. I don't know what it was. Little spaceship. But what boggled me is, I'm like, this is so convenient. Like this, there was so much like mist and fogginess in the sky that I couldn't see anything at all, other than the little UFO. But I just thought, I purposely wanted to go out and see that tonight, and the motherfuckers have covered it up.
Yeah, it's unlucky. But I mean, you still should have tried taking some pictures. It would have you would have probably been able to see it through the cloud cover.
Oh, right. Is it still on tonight?
It's supposedly charging up for something big this evening. So there should be something. I think they said it's usually between, like, at least where I am, between like 11 and 1 in the morning. My wife and I were out at 10:30 Friday night. She drugged me out. I did not feel good, but I'm glad I went because I've always wanted to see those. And the weird thing is you could see like this pink, blue, and green hues to the sky and like these swirling clouds. And it was like, this is weird, but there's no clouds out. And then occasionally you could see an actual ribbon. And it was just like, that's incredible. I mean, that's incredible. And then we took some very interesting pictures that I'm very happy to have, because this year I saw the eclipse for 4 minutes and 13 seconds. And now I've got to see the aurora this year. So that's kind of awesome.
It's a lot to take in a year.
That's what she said. That's what she said, Ollie.
She did.
No, man. But to Lee's point, yeah, it does feel something suspicious is going on, right?
I just sent you guys the picture. See, it was cloudy, cloudy where I was, but you could still take pictures of it through the clouds. That was at 1 o'clock in the morning last night.
I'm trying to log in to see it since we're not going to share with anyone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's crazy. Your backyard looks almost tropical.
You can share them on TikTok. There you go, Lee.
Yeah, I'm not sharing pictures with the internet outside my house.
No, just zoom in on the sky. So you just got a bit of purple.
Seems like a bad move.
Nah, we don't have those kind of stalkers.
Don't we?
I mean, you do. My stalkers are grand. They are delightful, and I appreciate every one of them.
Well, we've got, if everything goes down, we've got till 2026 before the alien invasion.
2029.
That's when the alien invasion is.
Well, 2029 is Apophis.
I thought it was 2026.
No.
Here.
2029 is when it hits.
No, no. 2036 is when it's supposed to hit. 2029 is the first pass.
Right. Okay. So we
give us more than 2 years, Ollie. You prick.
Okay. So we've got a bit of time. Live your life, people. You know, make sure you watch plenty of Alien Addict.
But 2027 is getting thrown around a lot at the minute.
It is, isn't it?
In the UFO world.
What, 2033?
No,
2027.
2027.
Oh, I heard 2033.
But also, let's not forget the amount of doomsday predictions we've had over the years.
Yeah. I mean, they're always there. But again, it comes back to the card game. So, like, Dave has no stalkers. He's already killed them. I don't kill them. I keep them. It's different.
Pets.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, stalkers like to think they're anonymous until you start showing up where they are. It changes the whole game. They love it. Yeah, it does seem like there's something to it. So if we are following the card game and Apophis is the asteroid they're talking about, then what should follow next is the alien invasion. And so at some point around 27 is when we'll know if they start talking about building space-based weapons to deal with this. We'll know we're going in that direction. Yeah. But we had talked to someone and they had told us offline that the government freaked out because someone told them that something had intervened with it, right? You guys remember that?
No.
What? Oh, you might not have been here for that.
I don't think
I think
so.
it was just me and Ollie.
When was this? How long was that? Is it ringing?
I'll tell you after the show because he didn't want it. Because remember, after the show, we asked him, "Hey, what's the strangest after show conversation you've ever had?" Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, someone told me that the Apophis thing that's coming, that it was already moved off trajectory by unknown forces, and it freaked everybody out. Like it was absolutely going to hit, and something changed it.
That's wild.
Yeah. I haven't heard that anywhere but from him or her. Just sexists out there. Tell you what. But yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe we're being cold. Maybe we're not.
Maybe it's just fear, like fear tactics. One of the theories is that these things feed off negative energy and emotions.
Yes,
and
then your blood.
Yeah, maybe. And but they've had like an all-you-can-eat buffet through COVID. Maybe it's maybe they need something else to make us scared.
You know what? Again, same friend who proposed the very dark theory I put out earlier that people can go back and watch or listen to if you listen in audio. One of the things that he uses justification, I agreed with him, is the uncanny valley. Uncanny Valley, for those who are unfamiliar, is when people see something human-like that looks like us but isn't us, we are naturally afraid of it. Like it unsettles us. We don't like it. It brings up aggression and fear, and it's the uncanny valley. And of course, people have taken the time to figure out how much of a human does it need to look like, and they figured all that stuff out. But that had to come into us from somewhere, and it would make sense if you look at, just tying loose strings together, right? You have these beings from long ago that were kind of like us, but not us, and obviously preyed upon us. If you got 6 fingers and 2 rows of teeth and you're 15 feet tall and you kind of look like a human, but you're not really, with all those shark teeth up there. Then you're ripping apart Bob, who I was just playing cards with. I'm going to freak out about that. And, something's going to get in the genetic makeup to that. You stay away from things that look like us, but aren't us. It's good camouflage, right? Use good camouflage to hunt. Just like the whatever's hunting people in Brazil and Peru and ripping their faces off for trophies.
We need more. We need more stuff about that Peru thing, because I think that the whole thing's fascinating. It's the just the story's fascinating. I think the level of racism that's involved in so-called smart people just going, yeah, well, we can't listen to those stories, because look where they're coming from. I think it's hilarious. When it's actually like those people have less reason to lie than most people.
Yeah, they're not trying to be TikTok famous.
No,
that's not what they're going for.
Did you guys? So, when we were talking about the asteroid thing and the dinosaurs, just for a bit of fun, because I know we're coming towards the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear when they scanned a T-Rex skull in, and they looked at the nostril areas and what sounded, and did you hear what the computer came out with?
No. Do you play it?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. It's freaky as hell.
So, good one to ask from Orphan Red. What's up, Red? Is that still happening in Peru, or did the media attention make it stop? I think everyone just stopped talking about it. No one said anything about it stopping. And the fact is, it was more widespread than it was reported. It was going on in Brazil as well.
So here we go.
It's kind of low. Turn it up. Like a bullfrog.
So hang on a second. So what is this supposed to be coming from?
Dinosaur.
So yeah, a computer did I don't know, they did like some sort of 3D modeling of the nasal area, and they reckon this is the sound they would have made
from their sinus cavities.
Yeah,
I don't use my sinus cavity to talk or make noise, though. Use my vocal cords.
Yeah, it's probably absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah,
yeah, it seems like bullshit. It seems like something scientists are saying, or alleged scientists in that world are saying to keep the paychecks coming for their fake dinosaur skeletons that they just kind of hobble together and make look cool.
That still, I've said it this podcast far too many times now, when I found out that there are two major companies, not one, but two major companies that specialize in the reconstruction of dinosaur bones, where they take an itty bitty fragment and they go, that looks like a T-Rex, and I'm going to build a T-Rex and put that little piece in it.
It's amazing how much bullshit there is. Like when you look at Lucy, the human missing link from Africa, and it was just a couple monkey bones. Like that had nothing to do with anything else. And they're like, no, this is how we're going to get a lot of grant funding. Trust me, run with it.
This is one of the reasons I kind of think they're playing the same game with the NASCAR mummies.
Elaborate on that.
Well, think about it, right? The dinosaurs, dinosaurs were theorized before they were discovered. Yeah. So somebody came up with the theory of giant reptiles before I know someone in the comments is going to come up with dragons. Someone in the comments is going to come up with like ancient fucking like people's depictions of giant lizards. Big Mike, Hillary Clinton. I get it. But for the sake of ease, let's just go off what we know from like written history that we have as like proper what we have as concrete history. Dinosaurs were theorized, and then they were discovered 6 years after they were theorized by the same person, I believe, who was off looking for dinosaurs. Now, that's where that started a gold rush in dinosaur digging, and there was thousands of dinosaurs dug up that were fake dinosaurs because the people were getting big money for dinosaur bones, and they were trying to strap bones together to make things. They were taking femurs off other animals and saying that they were like finger bones of things, that sort of thing, to try and get some of that fake dinosaur money. Aliens were theorized for years. Now someone's turning it with bodies. I believe you can buy some of these bodies now.
Oh, I'm getting one.
It's this. You're not, Ollie, because they are expensive. But this is the.
I'll make
it
one.
just seems to be the same playbook. It seems to be the same playbook as dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're trying to give a corporeal form to something that, if you read enough accounts, seems like it's pretty incorporeal. You know, like that. It doesn't have a body. Like this is something interacting with us on a different level. Yeah, man. It's trip out there.
Who's selling them?
Somebody making money. I wish I would have come up with a pet rock. Damn it. Not this. I don't want to scam anyone this way. Like that's not.
Instead, we've got Ollie.
Yeah, he's our rock. Tiny hand rock. Well, and with that, we've definitely wandered around through the dark and macabre, and being harvested enough, and we're kind of on that time frame.
We've harvested enough of your attention for this evening.
Well, never enough, but we want to keep milking you for more.
Before we get off, we want to remind people that all Alien Addict podcasts are out there in the ether over the course of the next week, usually Mondays and Wednesdays. They're up on everything from Audible to Spotify to Apple Podcasts. Not Google anymore, because Google killed the podcast app. There is no more Google Podcasts.
Oh, we're not on Google anymore?
No, there is no Google Podcasts anymore.
They gave up.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole platform's gone. Sorry for people that used it. Of course, go and buy merch. Follow the links. We're trying to use some more stuff on TikTok. We're putting like our intro movies up. If you enjoy our intro movies and you think to yourself, "Oh, I'd like to go and watch some of those again," we are in the process of uploading all of them to TikTok. I think there's 2 up there right now you can go and check out. So go follow us on TikTok.
Yeah.
Other than that, what else we got to talk about?
This summer's coming quick, so we should be pretty content rich for that. It opens up time for us to do things. Thanks for staying with us. Listen on audio, share on audio, share our podcasts. Makes a difference, especially the audio versions.
5-star reviews on all of them, please.
Yes. Check out Conspiracy Mothership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us love, man. Give us love. And women, men and women. Damn it. They, thems, and fuck, I don't want anything from you.
Sexuals.
All right.
With that note,
Von Braun's purpose in life during the last years of his life, his dying years, was to educate the public and decision makers about why space-based weapons are a dumb, dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, unworkable, undesirable idea. The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie.
Anyone else find it weird that Warner's assistant was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady? No, just me.
He had a type, didn't he?
Yep.
Definitely
Yep.
had a type.
Nobody asked any questions about that? Nothing?
No.
Nothing? We just looked all the way? I'd like to see all the ones he rejected.
Not see to see here.
Not